I'd like to introduce Jean-Luc, who is a Frenchman living in England. Welcome, Jean-Luc.
Thank you.
Could you tell me when you first noticed MS symptoms?
I didn't know what it was, but I started having problems, basically, from optical neuritis back in the 75 area. And I reported the problem having visual problems. And I went to hospital and I went to treatment. And what they did is they injected me with fluor to see how the optical nerves was being irrigated by the fluor tinting the blood. And I went to Moorfield, and from there, I mean, there was nothing more of that. I mean, they were sort of, oh, well, we don't know what it is. And they'll keep it on the book, but they had absolutely no idea what it was. So I went from there, and it sort of went, or I prefer to ignore it, more or less. And it didn't go away, really. It comes back sometimes, depending on stress levels. There is an awful lot of dependency of stress levels with symptoms which reoccur only when the situation is extremely tense. That was then, and then disappeared. I ignored it, brushed it under the carpet. And it was a good 10, 15 years when I had more problems, which were backache, which were starting to have a balance problem. And falling over was becoming a regular occurrence. People sort of laughed about it, say, well, he can't see all this drink, it must be a Frenchman in him. But it was quite embarrassing to a large extent, because I couldn't work out why. Couldn't always stand it like others could. And then there was all sorts of problems that came to link to it. But I mean, almost all the symptoms that I have now occurred through those years, and I reported religiously then to the hospital, and had various tests done for. I had tingling hands, I had tingling fingers. I reported that, and they did tests like if it was carpal tunnel, by putting some electric shocks into your arm to see if it was a blockage into the wrist, which it wasn't. And then again, well, we don't know what it is, or you wait 3 weeks and you get a letter, and it doesn't make you any wiser. So all that was brushed under the carpet until a day back in 2002, where I was going to, it was funny, I was running a workshop of equipment at the time. And instead of turning up with a bottle of Plonk, one of my clients said, well, listen, you're really painful to watch and walk with your difficulties. I've got an osteopath who does me and my family is really good. So instead of buying you a bottle of scotch this year, I bought you a session with him. You go and see him, it's on me. So I went to see him. And it was quite far, but I'm such a Scrooge, I thought, well, I better use it. I've never been to see an osteopath. And I went to there, and the guy looked at me as I passed his threshold, and I was just made a few steps to his seat, and I was using one stick by then. And he said to me, I'm sorry to tell you, but there is nothing I can do for you which is going to last more than 15 minutes. Now, you've got to do something. You've got to insist on an appointment with a neurologist, and you've got to insist for an MRI scan. Mm-hmm. And I mean, after years and years and years of going for every single symptoms and my poor body was going through, that guy who is an osteopath, who is not a doctor, who is not even considered to be part of the medical brotherhood, so to speak, went for a bullseye first time. And he knew exactly what I had.
Wow.
He didn't tell me then, but I asked him years after, and he said, well, I've got my eyes, I used them. And he was right. I mean, I went to have an MRI scan. I had an appointment with a neurologist, and they revealed me that, well, good news is we know what's wrong with you. The bad news is it's MS. And they linked immediately to say, do you want an appointment with a counselor? And I said, no. No, for years my life has been a misery. I didn't know what I had. Mm. And I thought I was going crazy. I didn't know what I had. Now I could pin it down. I could name it. I could, well, I know it wasn't a very pleasant prospect to know that you had this disease, but to a degree, the relief of knowing what it was, to be able to put a name on it, was sort of lifted a couple of lambs out of my shoulder.
That's good.
Mm. So that was back in 2002. Mm-hmm. 2003, I was diagnosed officially by the neurologist, and I kept working until 2007. Mm-hmm. But by then it was getting really difficult, really tricky. And the company got serious, got bought over by another company. They offered me to retire, and I jumped on the occasion because I knew that I'll never have this opportunity again. Mm-hmm. So that was it. I mean, for me, that was fine.
And how did you hear about LDN?
We were. I was member of a physio group of MS sufferers, which was gathered somewhere in Woking when I was member of that group and going every 2 weeks to do physio exercise with them. And then one chap from them sort of said, I found something absolutely amazing. I'd like to talk to you about it. It's called LDN. And I've used it. I find it extraordinary. And I urge you lot to give it a go. So that was the first time I heard of it. The guy's name was John Hogue. Mm-hmm. And many of us did follow his advice. From there on.
Mm-hmm. And what were your symptoms at that time when you found LDN?
From the beginning of 2003, where I was officially declared MS, and January 2009, no, I didn't have anything in terms. I didn't. January 2009 was when I started the LDN.
Right. And did you manage to get your own doctor to prescribe LDN for you, or did you have to get a private prescription?
I didn't. I mean, he turned me down. Sort of. What do you need this for? You know. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, I don't like the tone of that, so I managed to get my neurologist to actually do him a letter, a slap on the wrist from somebody who's a couple of tags higher than you. And he then did the prescription. But he had to be a little prompted. I mean, I know a lot of people who wouldn't have bothered, but I sort of, I'm that way inclined. That's what we are, the French, you know, the sort of foot in the door.
And when you first started, did you have any introductory side effects?
No. I just carried on as normal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have much side effects. I mean, I noticed the benefit very quickly within 2 weeks. I mean, there was, I live with about 40 different symptoms with MS, linked to MS, okay? Mm-hmm. Which, the priority of which is taken in turn. It sort of flicks from one to the other. I always got something wrong, but it's never the same, or not often the same. It didn't affect most of those. What it affected was 3 different things. It was affecting my fatigue, and it was almost within 2 weeks I could have the hump to actually go for a whole day and not being knackered. Mm-hmm. And that was a great change for me, because before I was obliged to sleep during the day. Now I can do without it. Mm-hmm. The second thing was sort of, I can't put a name to it, sort of cognitive, I suppose, because I had a continuity of thoughts. I could actually start something and finish it rather than start 15 things and not even finish one.
Yes.
And that helped me greatly with that. So I became a bit more logical, a bit more focused.
Mm-hmm. If you had to measure your quality of life before you started LDN on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, before you started, what would you have said you scored?
Well, because it modestly changed few of the effects. I mean, I would say probably 1 or 2, possibly 3 of my panoply of 40. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a good 10. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't irradiate the other 37.
Yes. No, I mean, before you started LDN, what would you have rated it before?
Oof. My MS before?
Yes.
4 to 5.
Okay. And you now say it's like a 10?
Well, it is so much more, so much better. I mean, it probably is somewhere around the 7, objectively. Mm-hmm. But I tend to look at the optimist, you know.
Yes. What would you say to other people who are contemplating trying LDN but might be a bit wary?
Oh, I encourage people to give it a go. I've always done. It really is my unwritten law, policy, whatever. I mean, something which works for me, I'll pass it on. Some people don't want to try. Some people are reluctant. Mm-hmm. But it's not that simple to change people's mind, as I know of myself. I mean, I'm not easy convinced there are so many people who want it all now, and it doesn't happen like that.
Yes. But for you, LDN has worked well.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. It made a definite inch into my life before and after.
Yes. And what does your doctor think to your progress?
Well, my GP is as good as he is. He's not an authority in MS, and in fact, I found the medical body to be only a far few who had any idea of what we go through. Mm. It's really, really sad to see that state of affair. But so my doctor said, well, if it does you good, yes, you can have it. Nowadays, with different squeeze that there is on the cost of supplies, it's horrendous. I mean, I found out that no, the doctor can't do it, can't prescribe it. Recently, I mean, I'm talking 2011. The new ruling was no, the doctor can't do it.
Oh, sorry, just 1 second. Hello? Yes. Hello? Right. No, that's okay. Right, I'm actually doing an interview at the moment and I've got to turn my phone off. Can I take your number and phone you back? What? Yes. Yes. Lovely. Okay, and that's Fiona. Okay, thank you. I'll phone you back. Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, that would teach me not to unplug the phone. Never mind. I've unplugged it now. So, sorry.
I should have done it on Skype for you.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's free in this package that I have anyway.
Okay, right. That's fine.
Yeah. So let's just go back to your doctor.
Yeah, my doctor. Okay, my doctor was difficult to convince at first. Then I had to give him a hint from a peer down the road, like the neurologist, who said, yes, this guy, you should give him LDN. And I got it that way in the first place. Mm-hmm. But only this year, they were giving me the wild goose chase. Oh, no, the doctor can't. No, it's got to be a specialist doctor. So I asked the neurologist, would you do me and a few weeks later, it was, no, the neurologist can't do it. It's got to go through the GP. So there was a sort of wild goose chase. I've been through that when I was collecting money. I know what the game is, to gain time. But I was really cheesed off about it. So I managed to go to Scotland and, not go to Scotland, but obtain my LDN from Dixon's in Scotland, and got private prescription for which I purchased from my doctor to get the LDN. Maybe that would be quite interesting actually to you. When I was collecting my LDN from a chemist, suddenly I asked them incidentally, how much was the LDN costing you, the chemist? And they said, over £250 for a month's supply. I went, what? I said, you've got to purchase it from these guys. Dixon in Scotland, I mean, that's what it cost me. It cost me 24 quid a month. And they said, oh, no, we can't do that. We got to purchase our medicine or unlicensed medicine from an unlicensed provider of medicines. So they were caught in the, it's Treasure Island, really, again and again.
Well, many people do get their NHS prescriptions from Dixon's. They
Yes.
are authorised to do that.
Yeah. Oh, they're very good. They're very good. I've been running ads between, and they never let me down. They always send the goods in due time, and it's very quickly there, and it's fantastic. So now I've made a commitment to buy 3 months batch, so I never caught short,
Yes.
or I can see when I need to have another prescription, which is fine. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's good. It makes a great deal of difference.
And have you seen your neurologist since you started LDN?
Yes. She was thrilled that I was getting so much cognitive difference into my life. And I mean, it didn't help any other area. The fatigue, yes, and other things, but I can't pinpoint sort of well-being or the little idea you've got of yourself, which sort of seriously eroded since the diagnosis.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. I do appreciate it.
You're okay. You're very welcome.
So that's us